This is the new Quilters VersaCurve from Time to Quilt, and this is what your pattern cover looks like in your quilt shop. Notice that there are two quilt designs on here. That's because when you buy the Quilters VersaCurve, you also get two quilt patterns with it. This is a large quilt about 75 by 92, and then a small table runner. Now let me show you how easy it is to use this. This little acrylic tool is as easy as ABC. If you know your ABCs, you can use this tool. There are no numbers on it, it's just lettered lines. And we start by cutting a rectangle, and then using one of the lettered lines on the tool, we position it here at the edge of a rectangle. In this case, it happens to be E. So you put the E line at the edge of your rectangle and then cut along the edge of your tool, and you've split that rectangle into two pieces. Now there's another shape that we can cut from this, and it's this light band. To cut those, we start by having a strip of fabric, and we position the tool here at the edge, where A is at the edge of your strip. This is the smallest cut we can make. Now cut along the edge of your tool. That's a discard piece, but that establishes a curved cut edge of your fabric. Now we're going to position this K line at that cut edge of your fabric and cut again along the edge of your tool. Move up that line up to this position again, and cut again along your tool. So you're cutting a series of these bands across your strip. Now take one of those bands, sew it between the two pieces of the rectangle that we split before. It's two very gentle arcs. Not a difficult seam to sew at all. In fact, I only use one, possibly two pins when I sew these. And then there's your finished block. That's all there is to using the Quilters VersaCurve. Now let me give you a little tip here. When you're sewing curves together, you've got we need to sew this piece onto this one. And so to do that, we have to flip this upside down. And always think this is the frown that goes down and this is the smile that goes up. And we always want the smile piece on top. So we align these in the center. Once you've done this a few times, you'll actually be able to skip this step. And then I'm going to sew from this end over to here, but I'm going to put a pin where I want this to end. So I overhang this tip. It's just about a 1/4 inch, but you want it so that this point right there where your seam line comes across, that those two fabrics meet right at that spot. So put a pin there, and then come back to the beginning of your strip, and I start just finger aligning those at this and overhang about the same, so that when I start my 1/4 inch seam, I come right where those fabrics meet at the edge. So your 1/4 inch along there, just gently easing that in all along across the edge, and when you're done, this piece will then be sewn to here. Now we need to sew this one on. So this piece now is the frown, and once we flip this upside down, this becomes the smile, and then just pin at the center, pin again here, and then start sewing at this edge and just sew across your piece. That's the Quilters VersaCurve.